Ever scroll through endless memes, binge watch your favorite shows, all thanks to the magic of the internet? We do, right?
Absolutely. It's become second nature.
But have you ever stopped to think about the people who actually make that magic happen?
The ones who keep us connected, yeah.
Exactly. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of telecommunications technicians. They're the behind-the-scenes heroes of our digital world.
And it's a career that's only becoming more important. With 5G, smart homes, the whole world going digital.
Right, so if you're thinking about joining their ranks, you're going to need to ace that interview.
That's where we come in. We've got our hands on some real-deal interview questions thanks to RoleCatcher.
And their career guide is packed with insights about what it really takes to succeed in this field.
And let me tell you, RoleCatcher's AI is a game changer when it comes to interview prep. We'll talk about that a bit more later, but just know it can analyze job descriptions, help you tailor your resume, even scores it against those requirements. Pretty cool, huh?
It's like having a secret weapon. But first, let's jump into some of these interview questions. One that pops up a lot is, describe your experience with voice and data network installation and maintenance. Where do you even begin with that?
Okay, so this one seems pretty straightforward, but it's actually your chance to really showcase your practical experience.
So don't just rattle off a laundry list of tasks you've done.
Right. Instead, think about painting a picture. Did you install a brand new phone system for a busy office building? Maybe troubleshoot a data network for a small business, something that makes your experience come to life.
Because let's be real, saying I'm good with computers isn't going to cut it at this level.
Not at all. And always be ready for those follow-up questions. They might ask, what was the most challenging network issue you faced and how did you solve it? They're digging into that problem-solving process.
Trying to get inside your head a bit.
Exactly. And speaking of thinking on your feet, another common question is, how do you stay up to date with the latest technology and industry trends? Because this field moves fast.
I Google stuff. Probably won't impress them, huh?
Probably not the best answer.
So what would you suggest?
This is where certifications come in handy. Things like CompTIA Network Plus or Cisco Certified Network Associate, those carry weight.
Yeah, those acronyms sound intimidating for a reason.
They show you're serious about professional development.
Exactly. Now, another question that seems pretty direct is, describe your experience with telecommunications equipment installation and configuration. Again, seems pretty self-explanatory, but what are they really looking for?
Okay, so it sounds simple, but this is where you can set yourself apart by highlighting your knowledge of specific equipment.
So don't just say routers and switches.
Right.
Right.
Be specific. Mention the brands you've worked with, Cisco, Juniper, show them you know your stuff.
So instead of I'm good with fiber optic cabling, it's more like I've used fusion splicers to repair damaged fiber optic lines.
Now you're speaking their language, and that's a great point. Don't be afraid to use the right jargon. It shows you're in the know, right?
Makes sense.
And speaking of fiber optics, they might even ask, how would you go about installing a fiber optic network in, say, a big multi-story building? That's them testing your understanding of the entire process.
So it's all about showing you have the hands-on experience to back up the technical terms.
You got it. Now let's dive into a question that's essential in this line of work. Describe your experience with fiber optic cabling. Because this technology, it's the backbone of modern telecommunications. It really is all about speed and reliability these days, and fiber optics is where it's at.
So if I've ever spliced a cable or two, this is my time to shine, right?
Absolutely. But remember, it's all about being specific. Don't just tell them you've spliced fiber optic cables. Talk about the tools you've used. Have you ever used an OTDR?
An OTDR. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm writing that down. What is that exactly?
It stands for Optical Time Domain Reflectometer. It's what you use to test those fiber optic lines to see if there's any signal loss.
So it's like a high-tech detective tool for cables.
Exactly. It helps you find any breaks or falls within the cable itself. Mentioning you've used one of these shows, you've gone beyond just the basic stuff with fiber optics.
It's like you're speaking their language, showing them, the tools of the trade.
Now you're getting it. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about a question that trips people up sometimes. How do you prioritize and manage your workload? It might not seem as technical, but trust me, it's important.
Because when a network goes down, you don't want someone who panics easily, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This job can get pretty demanding, so showing them you're organized and can stay calm under pressure is key.
So how do you even answer that in an interview?
Think about how you keep track of everything. Do you use a planner, a to-do list app, maybe a whiteboard with a million sticky notes? Whatever works for you, be ready to explain it.
So it's not about having the perfect system, it's about proving you have a system.
You got it. And a great way to show them that is by giving a specific example. Maybe you were juggling multiple installation projects, all with crazy deadlines. How did you make it work?
Did you use any project management tools or have a super secret scheduling method? Give them the inside scoop.
Exactly. Let them see how your brain works and how you handle the heat.
I like it. Okay, so we've talked about technical skills, staying organized, but what about when things go wrong? Troubleshooting.
Yes. Every technician's favorite game. Describe a time you had to troubleshoot a complex telecommunications issue. Get ready to be the hero of your own tech story.
Okay, I'm picturing flashing lights, frantic typing on a keyboard. What are they looking for here?
They want to see those problem-solving skills in action. Walk them through your process step by step. Did you isolate the problem, use any diagnostic tools have to consult the tech gods, also known as technical documentation? The more specific you are, the better.
So don't just say, I fixed it. Tell them how you cracked the case like a tech detective.
Exactly. For example, you could talk about a time you had to figure out why a network was down. Maybe you use a network analyzer to examine the data traffic, and like a detective, you follow the clues to find the culprit and save the day.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI could come in handy, right? To help us remember those past tech triumphs.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher can actually analyze job descriptions and suggest specific examples from your own work history, things you might not even think of.
That's like having a personal interview assistant. Sign me up. Okay, so what's next on our list of interview must-knows? So we've talked about all the tech stuff, the problem-solving skills, but there's one more thing that's super important, right? How you actually talk to people about this stuff.
Yes, communication. That's a big one, especially when you're dealing with clients who might not be as tech savvy.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
how do you even answer a question? Like, how do you work with clients who don't really understand all the technical jargon? I'm already feeling a little nervous just thinking about it.
I hear you. It can be tricky, but it's all about empathy.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself in their shoes. They're frustrated, their internet's down, their phone's not working. They need a solution, not a lecture on bandwidth.
Right. It's about meeting them where they're at, not making them feel like they should know more than they do.
Exactly. Use clear and concise language. Ditch the jargon unless you absolutely have to. And most importantly, be patient and understanding.
It's like explaining to your grandparents how to use a smartphone for the 100th time. You want to be helpful, not condescending.
Precisely. And you know what would really impress an interviewer? A concrete example. Tell them about a time you had to troubleshoot something for a client who had no clue what a router was. How did you break it down for them?
That makes sense. Okay, feeling a bit more prepared for that one. But what about this question? How do you make sure those telecommunications systems are secure and meet all the regulations? Suddenly I'm picturing mountains of paperwork.
Don't panic. It's not about memorizing every single regulation out there. They mainly want to know that you understand how crucial security and compliance are in this field.
So they're looking for that awareness that you take it seriously, even if you haven't memorized every single rule.
Exactly. Mention things like data privacy, firewalls, encryption. Those are all buzzwords that tell them you're thinking about security.
And I'm guessing knowing a few specific regulations wouldn't hurt either.
You're right. Familiarizing yourself with some key ones like the Telephone Consumer Protection Act shows you've done your homework.
So it's about that balance between the technical know-how and a broader understanding of the industry's responsibilities.
You got it. And that brings us to our final question, which is all about growing your career. How would you approach training and development for your team? Even if you're not a manager yet, they want to know you're thinking about this stuff.
Okay, so even if I'm not calling the shots yet,
Yeah.
this question is still relevant. Interesting.
Absolutely. It shows them you're thinking about leadership and that you're committed to constantly learning and growing, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you.
So even if I'm not officially leading a team, I can still talk about how I'd mentor others, stay updated on new tech, maybe even organize some training sessions.
Now you're thinking like a leader, and that's exactly what they want to hear.
This has been amazing. I feel like we've covered so much ground today, from the nitty-gritty tech stuff to how to actually talk to people about it.
Remember, preparation is your best friend. And don't forget about those amazing resources from RoleCatcher. Their insights and AI tools can be a game changer when it comes to nailing that interview.
With the right prep and a real passion for this field, the world of telecommunications is your oyster.
Good luck out there.
You've got this. And remember, the world needs skilled and adaptable technicians now more than ever.